Let's talk about the corrupt K-pop industry and BTS. I discovered K-pop through a friend pretty early. I think I was like 12 at that time. And so she showed me this video of 2NE1 and Big Bang. I didn't really think much of it, honestly. I was like, sounds like bubblegum pop. And even in 2012, or as I would like to call the Gangnam Style era, I still couldn't get into K-pop. All my friends were super into K-pop by then, and I don't know, I just didn't really find it that interesting. I mean, of course, there were some songs that were kind of catchy and I listened to them, but I could never fully get the appeal of K-pop. Like, something about it just looked and felt off to me. All these boys and girls who dance perfectly synchronized, those perfect basic doll faces, these copy-based beats, manufactured hooks. I don't know, something about these music videos and people felt kind of fake, hollow, and uninspired. It just didn't feel real, you know? And mind you, before you bombard the dislike button, I didn't even research about the industry at that point. It just came off that way, like it already gave me those vibes, you know? But I remember, like, after the K-pop era in 2012 and 2013, I kept seeing some articles on Tumblr on how fucked up the K-pop industry really is. And at that point I was like, oh, that's why I don't like it. So now I'm just gonna talk about the points of K-pop I really hate, and I will probably take BTS a few times as an example. So let's talk about how do you even become an idol / K-pop star. To become a Korean pop star / idol, you have to take dancing, singing, and acting classes, and most important of all, you have to have the looks. Which is something I never understood, to be honest, because I personally think, especially in the field of making music and singing, that you cannot learn true talent. You have to be born with it. It has to be in your blood. It has to be in your soul, you know? If you always had a talent for making music and singing, of course you can train it and become even better. But if you aren't talented from the get-go and you just want to become famous because you want to, then it's definitely not going to work. And okay, let's say you have the looks, you have an okay voice, but nothing in there or there, then you're so fucking boring. I mean, what is there to admire, to be inspired when it's just the outside that looks good? But you know damn well that this boy or girl has nothing to do with the songwriting, producing, or maybe even singing, since there are actually a lot of K-pop stars who heavily rely on autotune, and there also has been a lot of cases of K-pop stars being literally exposed by the media for not being a true singer, because their real singing voice was completely different from their, you know, from their song voice. And yeah, it's just kind of embarrassing, to be honest. And what's even crazier is that the character that they are displaying for the camera might not be even real. It can just be all fake, you know? It's just a human shell with nothing interesting inside. It's a lifeless puppet in makeup and fancy clothes that was groomed for years to memorize choreographies, sing, and behave properly for the camera. Mind you, I'm just generally talking about the corrupt system. Of course, I know that there are many true artists out there who have much more control, like creative control over their own work. And to be fair, it's getting a little bit better regarding restrictions and, you know, beauty standards, but boy oh boy, the K-pop industry still has a long way to go to be unproblematic. I personally think that there is something kind of gross for agencies to take literal kids who probably have no idea what they even want to do in life and get them to sign those awful slave contracts. Girls' Generation member Jessica Jung was approached by a talent scout when she was 11 years old and became a SM trainee. Even her 6-year-old sister was invited to audition as well. Kim Taeyong from BTS was literally discovered just because of his good looks. He didn't even plan to audition for the big hit label. I believe he was like 15 years old at that time, and since he didn't have the parental permission, one of the staff members actually called his parents and convinced them to let him audition for the label. Again, I want to emphasize that he didn't even plan to become an idol whatsoever, and of course I know everything went great for him. He became a big part of BTS, yada yada yada. I just wanted to highlight the fact that he was approached just because of his good looks, not because of talent. When I was in my teen years, I wanted to be an astronaut. Later, I wanted to work for animation films. Then I wanted to be a police officer. And with 19 years old, I was like, oh, I want to be a designer. Do you see how many times my decision changed? So these kids in their teen years may think, oh, the life of a K-pop star must be amazing. But the reality is that a lot of them just end up never making it. And not only that, they wasted all of their golden teen years where they should be discovering themselves, finding their hobby, their true passion perhaps, but no, they just wasted their precious youth, thousands of dollars, and are probably in debt because of all the years of training that led to nothing. I'm being a little bit dramatic here, I admit it. Let's imagine this person really truly wants to become a singer and is indeed really talented. What this person has to go through to even make it is horrendous. So in Korea, you can't really rely on your talent or on your unique character to make it in the industry. You have to become a trainee first. And to become a trainee, they have to sign a slave contract that restricts them from basic human rights. So these literal kids who are 12 to 16-year-old sign these contracts, and it may take 1 to 10 years for an agency to groom the trainee and for them to debut on stage. And in all those years, you are given dancing lessons, singing lessons, acting lessons, clothes, food, and accommodation, which you all have to pay back to the management when you are lucky enough to debut. So there are actually big groups in Korea that barely made any money in the first 2 years because they were practically paying their trainee years back. Like, what? Both trainees and K-pop idols who debuted typically live in dormitories where their management agencies control their diets, their love lives, and their behavior. And usually controlling their love life pretty much means no dating.
Why do they live together?
저희는 안무 연습이나 노래 연습도 밤늦게까지 하기 때문에 다 같이 연습하고 다 같이 얘기도 한번 하고 토론도 하고 그런 게 많기 때문에 같이 합숙을 하게 되는 것 같아요.
But do they have friends outside the band and are they allowed to visit the house?
그게 그냥 매니지먼트 팀의 공유가 되면 그렇게 크게 터치하지 않는 편인 것 같아요.
And in some cases, I read that they even take their cell phones away and they're like not allowed to leave their dormitories without permission. Even if they are given permission, there's like a just limited time where they can, visit their family or their friends. Sometimes they just don't give permission at all to do those things. Like, what the fuck?
Superpower. Which superpower we want to have? The superpower. Teleport. Yeah. Teleport.
승. Why? I want family.
Here are some examples of K-pop bands who spoke out about their unfair treatment and the slave contract. So in 2014, all 6 members of BAP filed a lawsuit against their own label, claiming that the 7-year contract only benefited the label, not them. They were overworked, underpaid, had to endure unfair working conditions and profit distribution. Like in the whole 2 years the group was popular, each member made only 18,000 US dollars and the label around $9 million. What the fuck? In 2008, 3 members of the boy band TVXQ took their management agency SM Entertainment to court, claiming that the agency's 13-year contract was too long, too restrictive, and gave them almost none of the profits from their success. In 2012, Chris from XOM also filed a lawsuit for contract annulation. He said, "The company has treated me like a machine part or as an object of control, rather than presenting a vision as an entertainer." And there are actually many other similar lawsuit incidents that not only involve K-pop bands but also actors, TV hosts, and even background dancers. So basically they work them like zoo animals and they don't feed them properly. Like, I mean, of course they feed them, but like they are required to maintain their like super skinny body. And here are actually some managers literally taking food away from them, and some of them being even a little bit violent. Let's look at some clips. Look at her, a fan gave her some yummy treats and the manager just takes it away. Like, what the fuck? Tiffany just wants ice cream, but her manager just pushes her away. Like, goddamn. Poor Jungkook doesn't want to eat with the group because he needs to lose weight. What? Where? Does he want to lose his bones? And here's another manager taking food away and she's like, just one? And look how happy she is that she gets to eat one gummy bear. Like, oh. Another manager taking food away. Oh, God. Kind of irritated, like I'm already really irritated. Here's Jin from BTS literally screaming at the managers to stop calling him a pig.
항상 식단을 챙겨 먹는데 그만 먹으라고 한 책은요. 식단 챙겨 먹는데 갑자기 나타나서 그만 먹으라고 하는데 너 자꾸 돼지라고 하는데 제가 돼지라뇨. 왜 저한테 돼지라고 하시는 겁니까?
Taeyang sounds like he's starving.
폰이 괜찮아? 네? 폰이 좀 괜찮아? 저요? 아 근데 좀 안 좋은데 좀 배가 고파서 뭘 좀 먹어야 돼.
Another manager taking food away. Here are some K-pop idols fainting, probably because of exhaustion. Here's Jungkook collapsing.
근데 제가 그렇게 쓰러질 줄 몰랐어요.
This looks really serious, to be honest. So this is probably another clip of a manager taking food away. Like, she's really enjoying the food and oh, I feel really bad for her, to be honest. Look at her face. Like, honestly, she looks genuinely upset. I don't know. So here's a clip of V from BTS saying that he had no time to hang out with his friends for the last 2.5 years. And this is pretty much the first time he hangs out with a friend. And it's not even real hanging out since it's all being filmed by a crew for a TV show thing.
친구 불러서 나간 거는 진짜 2년 반 만에 처음이고 거의 이제 작업실 아니면 연습실 아니면 숙소 아니면 이제 진짜 너무나 피곤할 때 새벽에 몰래 탈출해가지고 밥 먹으러 나가는 거 끝. 매니저 형이 어디야 하면 야 빨리 집을 가면서 막 먹던 것도 막 진짜 중단하고 막.
I love how they blast music and edit it in an upbeat way as if what he said wasn't the most sad thing ever. And here's Jungkook flinching because the manager threatens to hit him. That was an unnecessary smack to the chest, and look at her reaction, like she looks so shocked. Honestly, I don't want to imagine what kind of things happen when the cameras are not rolling. And I'm also like so tired of these shallow questions on who is the most handsome in the group.
멤버 중에 누가 잘생긴 얼굴이에요?
저는 뭐 다 잘생겼는데
Please pick the member who you think is the most handsome.
누가 우리 팀에서 가장 잘생겼지? 라는 사람을 뽑아주세요. 자, 셋, 둘, 하나. 누구죠?
Can you rank each other from who is the most handsome to obviously, you know, where it goes?
Like, can you imagine an interviewer asking that question to a Western pop group? The interviewer would be buried. Like, who the fuck cares if you look good or not? Like, can you make music or not? That's all I'm interested in. So this next clip is very interesting. It's a clip of a girl who was almost a member of Girls' Generation, and she shares her experience on how the management treated her.
When I was vigorously going through training in Korea, every single week we would have something called profile filmings. And what this is they would make you stand in different angles and just get different shots of you, and they would kind of tell you, oh, you look weird at this angle, or you look a little fat at this angle, turn a little this way. And what they would also do is they make us stand in a line, us heavier girls, and they would make us go on the scale, and they would call out what your weight is in front of all of the girls, all of the guys. And if your weight had not gone down from the week prior, then we would kind of get bashed on. And in this world of entertainment in Korea is very competitive, and all of the girls are super stick skinny, and always having been compared to these girls, and you know, compared to people that are always better or are always prettier, I think that's when I really started to dig that hole. I had a bad case of an eating disorder, and just in a matter of a couple months, I think I dropped about like 20 pounds, and at my height right now, I'm about 5'7", 5'8". I only weighed about 90 pounds at my worst.
So she didn't end up signing the contract to become a member of Girls' Generation, and here is how like people around her treated her afterwards.
I'd walk into Starbucks and a group of Korean students would kind of stand behind me, and I can see them pointing their fingers at me and being like, hey, you know, that's that girl. She's not as pretty as we thought she'd be. She's fat, she's ugly, and just things like that. And I would hear all of that, you know, I'm right there.
Yeah, I really don't get Korea's obsession of looking perfect, being skinny. I just don't
얼굴 괜찮습니까? 아, 왜 못생겼지?
이제 제가 좀 저를 보면서 좀 아쉬웠던 부분이 많았던 것 같아요. 표정이라든지 요즘에 좀 살도 찌고 해가지고 그런 부분이 있었어요.
I wish Korea would change this outlook on people. Like, they all look so boring to me. Like, I don't care if they look like perfect dolls. I don't care if they can dance. I don't care if their music videos are eye candy. It's all manufactured garbage anyway, and it looks and feels the same. Like, also, what's the deal with having only K-pop? Where's the K-rock, K-metal, avant-garde genres? Why is there only K-pop that's popular? Almost everywhere else in the world, I feel like everyone who is truly talented or interesting has a fair chance to make it in the industry. Even people who you might think are absolute garbage or untalented can make it. And you know why? Because they are in their own special way entertaining. Something about their character is interesting, amusing, alluring, or fascinating. And people who don't fit the general beauty standards, they all have a chance to make it in the entertainment industry. What's important is talent and character. Look at all these SoundCloud rappers who made it. Look at all these YouTube and TV show personalities who became famous because of their character. Like, you have to stand out, be unusual, be an alien, be different to be recognized. Also, you usually have free creative range about what topics you want to sing. Like, your songs can be about wild sex, drugs, violence, abuse, society issues, or about literal garbage. But in Korea, sadly, it's quite the opposite. Like, you have to fit the norm. All these songs are so PG, it's not even funny. And also, any dating rumors or drug abuse, serious mental health issues, for example, depression or suicidal thoughts, or any strong political views are not, and I mean like not advised to be shared with the public or with their fans. Like, in Korea, that's hardcore. Like, you get punished for the most trivial things when you're an idol. For example, Park Bom experienced a major backlash in 2015 when she tried to take medication which was indeed prescribed for her from America to Korea. The problem was these medications were banned in Korea. So news covered the story as Park Bom tried to smuggle drugs to Korea. Like, you know how the media always over-exaggerates those stories. And she received tons of hate, and this was actually also one of the reasons why 2NE1 disbanded shortly after that. And honestly, even if she did try to smuggle drugs, that punishment was completely unfair and way too much. You know, it was way too harsh of an punishment. I feel like in America or Europe, it's so common for stars to fuck up, say some stupid shit.
Slavery for 400 years? For 400 years? That sounds like a choice.
Maybe apologize for it, or maybe they don't, but you know, the thing is that they are always given a second chance or a third chance to redeem themselves. The people there are much more forgiving because guess what? We are all humans and make mistakes. The K-pop industry and their fans really need to realize that idols usually are not innocent, perfect little babies, you know? I want Korea to just completely crush their obsessive beauty standards and celebrate and encourage true talent, uniqueness, and most important of all, true beauty that shines through within, you know? And get this almost medieval idea that you have to be trained to be an idol out of their head, you know? Like, what the fuck is an idol anyway? Like, get rid of the trainee system, like, for real. RM from BTS mentioned last year how he is a fan of Joji's music, and I was pretty shocked to hear that because, you know, Joji...
penis and vagina. You're a stupid cunt, suck my dick.
pretty much represents everything what Korea would find appalling.
조지라는 분이 있습니다. Joji. 장르를 뭐라 해야 될지 모르겠는데 아무튼 EP가 나왔는데 엄청 좋습니다. 굉장히 제 스타일이고요. 기분이 안 좋을 때 들으면 굉장히 좋아집니다.
Whoa!
By the way, Joji is signed up with the label 88 Rising, and you should really check out their music, by the way. It's really good and chill.
Telling all the friends, I might put them on a gram. Hold up, wait a second, man, my flow on lethal weapon. Hit them with the rhyming pattern, put these rappers under pressure.
So dating ban exists to basically give those desperate fans an illusion of availability. K-pop stars sell their looks and fantasy of their bodies. They are like objects to be had, and if they are off the market, you know, if they are already with someone, there isn't much point selling them, right? So for fans to support these celebrities, they should, no matter how remotely, be available for the fans. You know, fans must be given the slight glimmer of hope that they have a chance to date them. Like
a lot of the band members are very attractive and look really good, but none of the members seem to date, and I've noticed this a lot with K-pop. Why is that? Are they allowed to have girlfriends and boyfriends?
특별한 이유는 팬들이랑 사귀고 있다고 생각을 해서.
So do you feel that they might be less popular if they weren't available?
아무래도 타격은 받지 않을까 싶습니다.
BTS made their breakout in the US recently, and a lot of American interviewers were asking them the same question. Do you guys date? And since these K-pop slave contracts are known around the world by now, I feel like these American interviewers were almost mocking BTS for allegedly not being allowed to date. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Do you date?
We want to focus on our career, so...
You guys are all together, but you didn't bring your girlfriends.
Please, make one.
You need a girlfriend?
No,
Are you looking?
We got armies. We got like thousands of girlfriends today in here at Microsoft Arena.
You know what I mean. Have you all ever dated one of your army?
혹시 아미 팬들하고 데이트를 해본 적 있거나 사귀어본 적이 있으신가요?
Explain what hooked up means. Come on.
약간 공적이 아니라 사적으로 살짝 만나신 적이라도 있는지요?
Not.
Good job.
No.
Like when we don't have a like boyfriend or girlfriend, we always say like, "Oh, I'm so lonely. I wanna date," you know, something like that. But I thought the biggest love we are all searching is like the love for oneself.
You mentioned you want a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Do you guys have time to date? You're so busy.
사랑이라는 게 꼭 뭔가 이게.
So I think there's a lot of different kinds of love, not just between a boyfriend and girlfriend, but love with your family, love with the people around you. So I think that's really important. And I think if more people, love the people around you and love the world and love each other, I think that will really, be a good thing for the world and make a better world.
That was like a typical bullshit answer. But anyway, here are some pretty outrageous instances featuring delusional fans. In 2016, a personal friend of J-Hope's sister she posted some selfies with BTS on her Instagram, and after posting these harmless pictures with the boys, she was harassed online, like big time. She was bombarded with death threats, she was called a slut because of what she wore in the pictures, like what? And some even went as far as saying her face was filled with plastic surgery, that she was ugly, yada yada yada. And the harassment went so far and severe that it even reached J-Hope's sister. And it became really ugly that they both had to set their accounts on private. And after that whole incident, I believe they both made new accounts with different names, but honestly, and if you see some pictures of Jimin or Jungkook being close to any girl, the comments are absolutely crazy. Like, they attack the girl, calling her ugly, slutty, whatever, writing bullshit like, oh, don't worry, fellow armies, he's not allowed to date because of the contract, so we have a chance. And who the fuck do you think you are that one of these guys would ever date you? Like, how fucking delusional do you have to be to actually believe that, And of course, everything is possible, like maybe there have been K-pop stars who have dated their own fans, but let me just say that he or she will definitely not ever date you if you are being such a delusional bitch. It's just so fucking funny to me that there are actually actual people who just go crazy when they see their idol being close to a man or to a woman, like oh. And in Korea there's even a name for these obsessive fans. They call them saseng fans. So these guys, they literally stalk their idols 24/7. They try to be close to them at any time, and they even try to break into their home and contact their families. Some even try to steal their urine, and like, what? So yeah, the list goes on.
Their fans are very territorial. And I like some fans bases and other fan bases don't mix well. And I went once and I was like, oh, like I love BTS, haha, my boys are so sick, and this one's my favorite. And then literally people were like, you fucking stupid jar of mayonnaise, I'm gonna slit your throat if you think you could be fan of BTS. They fucking hate white people, fuck you. And I was like, whoa, this is really intense. And they're like, can't be racist to white people, bitch. You can't, I screenshot so many people, all different types, all different walks of life on Twitter, being like, you fucking scumbag, if you think you can be a fan of BTS, I'll kill you. I swear. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Those fans really need to chill. And also, don't even get me started on these shipping wars where these fans are literally convinced that some of these members are confirmed gay and dating each other. And like, I'm not kidding, there are literally hundreds of videos dedicated on analyzing specific shippings and, where they take snippets of members being close to each other and saying stuff like, oh, look how he looked at 11:30 at his eyes, like, look how jealous he looks here because Jiminy is hugging V, that must mean something, he's in love with V, like, goddamn, chill. They are real people, okay? Like, you don't know shit about them, and I don't care if it's just your own fantasy, whatever, okay, have fun, but if you just ship their romance, that's like totally fine, but don't try to convince everybody what their sexuality is, and don't attack each other because of your own delusional fantasies. Like, ew, stop, chill, don't do that. Don't. And like, I really don't understand how one can become so obsessed that they literally want to control their love life, or they try to convince other people that they are gay or straight or whatever. Like, fucking hell, stop, don't, just stop. Anyway, so these were pretty much the major points of what I don't like about the Korean pop/entertainment industry. And in the next video, I will be talking about how BTS is ruining my life and how I hate them. Stay tuned.
Ding dong dong, ding dong dong.